So there's a ton of stuff to discuss. A new Metroid Prime 4 video, introduction to new mechanics, new locales, new characters, and we're going to talk about all of it here in this video. First off, just take a look at the game, folks. And I'm not talking about let's stop, let's zoom in, let's find out if that blade of grass reflects the other blade of grass. I'm just talking about take a look at this. Imagine walking through these worlds and exploring as Samus Aran in the Metroid Prime universe. The lore of the characters, Psylocke is back, and there are a ton of things to do and see. And some of the things I was surprised by. One thing in particular, I'm a little bit I'm not too sure about, and we'll talk about that. And then there's just the overall presentation, which you're going to see as I speak throughout this video, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. So let's start off with what's going on. Samus is transported to a planet called Vuros. Now, she's transported there against her will. We don't know how this happens, but because she's a lone bounty hunter, most of the things that she's done, she's planned to do on her own. She prepares for these missions, but this one she is not prepared for. And also, soldiers are transported along with her to this planet. Now, she's transported by herself. We have to assume that something happens and it encompasses a few other people, and they're transported as well to this planet. Samus meets these soldiers, saves them on side missions or quests, I'd imagine, and some of them tag along with Samus at certain points throughout the game. Not for the entire game, but at certain points, and I get it. They say it in the beginning of this trailer. Samus Aran is a lone bounty hunter, so it's odd for her to have help along the way. But because, and this is just my own theory, because she isn't prepared for this, and she winds up in an environment that's completely foreign. She hasn't prepared. She doesn't know what she's going to encounter along the way meeting these people. It just makes sense to get a little bit of help. So I'm not that upset by it. Certainly upset is a weird word for a video game or a character that really doesn't exist, but, you know, I like the idea of the lone bounty hunter, and it doesn't mean that Samus isn't a lone bounty hunter. So I can forgive this because it kind of makes sense to me. This is really cool here, by the way. When she jumps, the Varia suit is so heavy that when she lands in these icy environments, the snow cracks. That was cool. Nice little touch. But I can understand the idea of I'm not prepared and there are these people here, so why not take every advantage that I possibly can? I get it. So not that big a deal for me. The one thing that I was looking forward to seeing more of are these psychic abilities. Now, I understand, like, you know, steering these bullets and stuff might not seem like it's going to be that compelling to do over and over and over again, but you have to remember, this is not a shooter, even though there are shooter mechanics in it. It is first and foremost an exploration, puzzle-solving game. It's about the atmosphere, it's about the exploration, it's about the puzzles, and then, of course, you shoot things. So when you see things like these psychic abilities, steering bullets and stuff like that, you have to remember that these abilities are going to be fully fleshed out in the other areas of gameplay that are more important than shooting: the exploration and the puzzle solving. And I'm sure that these psychic abilities are going to take on a whole new meaning when you're manipulating large portions of an environment to solve a puzzle. The other area that people seem ready to just completely complain about and tear down before the game even comes out is this sort of semi-open world buffer zone between the big areas. There's a desert. So in between these big areas that you go to explore, to further the story and to flesh out the characters and Samus's ability, there's this large desert area that you can explore in before you get to the other locales. And there are things to do in this large open desert, but certainly not as much as the bigger open game and the areas that you're driving to. Now, you can hop off of the bike in this desert and explore if you see something that warrants exploration. And there are also things to collect in that open desert area to help you enhance Samus's abilities. So I already talked about the characters that you meet along the way, but I wanted to touch on this again because I feel like the facial animation and just the facial models in general in this game are really good. They're some of the best that Nintendo has ever done. And I really appreciate that attention to detail because What it says to me is, and I'm not sure about this because I haven't played the game, but they're going to be able to emote and express themselves a lot more to Samus, because Samus is that sort of faceless, stoic, lone bounty hunter, and I think it'll be cool to see that sort of juxtaposition between her character and everyone else. By the way, juxtaposition, I know it's a big word, Google it. So ultimately, this 7-minute trailer showed quite a bit of what's going on in this new game, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. The rest of the footage here is going to be a mix and a match of everything that I talked about, boss fights, graphics, stuff like that. So take a look at this game. I mean, look at how amazing it looks. And what's really exciting, this is born on Switch 1 technology, ported to Switch 2. Imagine a couple of years from now, when they're building from the ground up with the Switch 2, if Switch 1 tech can look this good coming to the Switch 2. It's available December 4th. Get the Switch 2 version or the Switch version. Now, some of the features exclusive to Switch 2, like I talked about, are the mouse controls if you want to use them. I haven't used them yet in the Nintendo Switch 2 game, and I probably won't use them here in this game, but it's cool to use the features of the hardware and implement them in a game. You also get a quality 4K 60 with HDR and a performance 1080p 120 frames per second HDR. I'm fine with the 4K 60, but I'm just really excited about this. Let me know what you thought about the trailer in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.